and goings. When I was in the military, no one in my circles talked about real estate. A lot of times they talked about the direct savings plan. They talked about debt. They talked about stocks and bonds, but no one talked about real estate. And a lot of times when people deploy and come back, you see a lot more Dodge Chargers and pickup trucks on the road. And I wanted to start a meetup that people can learn the nuances of real estate so they can build generational wealth for them and their families. So I'm very, very excited to bring a friend of mine's on this meetup. Somebody who the last time that we saw each other was in Montana 11 years ago. And I used to go over his house all the time, play video games. We used to meet up one other guy. We used to play video. The three of us was like hanging all the time. But I did not know my guy was doing real estate either. So James, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Thank you for coming to the meetup. Thank you for being a guest speaker. And how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I was doing real estate back then too, but not like I am now. But I just remember me and you went to the All-Star game together.
Man.
It was good times, man. That was so fun.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all a caveat about this. Short story. So I had just got to Montana, and James was already in there, and our friend Brandon was there too. So I wanted to go since All-Star Weekend was in Denver and we was in Montana. I said, hey, let's go down there. So we decided to go down from Montana to Denver. We stayed in FE1, which is in Wyoming, which is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So we packed our bags, drove down to Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was about what, 8-hour, 9-hour trip, something like that. Packed our bags, got down to Wyoming, got down to the All-Star Weekend, went to the rookie game, drove around, came back, stayed the night in Wyoming, went back, drove around, and then we found tickets to go to All-Star Weekend. So that was a lot of fun. I went to the VIP room. You didn't go to the VIP room. You had to stay outside.
Yeah, man. He had that height. He had that height that could get him in anywhere. They thought he was a ball player.
Yeah.
He was one of them. He could just walk by and be like, "Yeah, I'm just headed in here," and they'd be like, "Okay."
Yes. Shaquille O'Neal and Carmelo Anthony had like a VIP room in one of the clubs. So I went in. So I was talking to the security guard all the time. So at the end of the night, when everybody had to leave, he said, hey, man, go in there and talk to him. Bring your friend. Unfortunately, James was already outside. So he had to wait until me and my friend, the other guy, was talking to all the celebrities. and then we drove back that night back home, and we got caught in a snowstorm. So that was very, very good times, very good times. But man, how you been, man? I mean, what you been up to lately?
All right, so I'm retired. I finished 20 years. I did 20 years and 4 days in the military, and now I'm getting my retirement. My wife's also did 20 years as well, and now we're in Las Vegas, Nevada, enjoying the taxation here and the warm weather.
Man, I was just in. The bad thing about it, James, I was just in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago because. I was there for a basketball tournament. Watch some kids play basketball. So I didn't even think about it, man. So we played at Tarkanian. They was playing the Tarkanian place. So not that far from right across street from the strip. So, but yeah, we'll talk. We'll definitely connect, man, in the future, man. Definitely.
For sure.
Look, we're here to talk about real estate. I just want to ask you a couple questions, man. So
yeah,
what got you involved into real estate?
Okay, first thing I want to say is love that you have this group, man. Huge respect for what you're trying to do and what you've already done and been doing, because it is a passion of mine. There's been so many times I've tried to convince people in the military to get involved in real estate, and it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, I'm begging and pleading. Anybody out there who ever worked for me knows, like, I'm gonna get into your financials. We're going to talk about how you can start building towards whatever you're going towards, but I'm going to be trying to show you towards real estate and tell you how it benefits you. We have a huge advantage being in the military. Having that VA loan, zero down, How I got in was I was living in an apartment, me and my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and my mom came up and visited me. She had just sold her place and made like I think it was something like it was close to $100,000, but made some money on some real estate. And she said, "Well, why aren't you buying any real estate?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, I don't know anything about it." But she had told me, she's like, "Well, you can make pretty good money doing real estate." So I started looking into it. So that weekend, I went to a loan officer, got pre-approved, started shopping. And then by the end of that week, before she left, I was already under contract. Just because I seen the benefits. She was able to express it to me a way to where I was like, well, no matter what, this is a win. And she was absolutely right. Because what happened was, and I'll give you some real numbers too. So I bought my first place for $84,000. It was a townhouse. That's a house that we used to come in, play video games in the basement.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a nice little house, especially for a starter house. But I was hugely intimidated by it because that was literally the most expensive thing I had purchased in my entire life. And I haven't even seen 84,000 at that point. So that number was very, very scary. But I did it anyways because it seemed like everybody who had real estate was in the end benefiting. So I just took a roll at the dice and said, well, I'll do that too. And what happened was I moved in, paid 84,000, and I'm paying just my monthly payment. I didn't pay anything extra. I paid $500 a month. It was something like that, around $500 a month. And eventually what happens is you get principal pay down. But what I didn't anticipate, even though I was young, was the appreciation of the house. So you've got appreciation going up, you got your principal pay down going down. And then it came time for me to move. So when it came time for me to move, I said, well, I'm going to sell it myself. I gave myself a window. I gave myself a window of like, I want to say 2 or 3 months to sell it. At that point, I was going to get a real estate agent to sell it for me. But I just took that chance because I looked at that 6%. At the time, they were charging 6%. My house appraised for right around $100,000 through appreciation. So I said I bought it for 84. It appraised right at 100. So I was looking at that $6,000. Do I give that $6,000 away, or is there a way I can try to recoup some of that money? So my whole angle was, I'm going to sell you the house. I had it appraised. I knew it was worth 100, and it was like 103,000. I knew it was worth 100 or maybe a little above, but I knew it was somewhere around there. And I'm going to try to give you a deal somewhere in between the 6%. Maybe I offer you 1%, maybe I offer you 2%. And I ended up selling it in like a couple of weeks. Not even a week. I think it was like maybe, it was like 10 days. I want to say it was like 10 days, if my memory serves me right. But yeah, that's what made me start doing it. And after I sold it, this was a big kicker. After I sold it and got the money in my account, I had principal pay down to 78,000. I sold it for 103. And then I had $25,000 hit my account. And for me at the time, we're just airmen. We're not making very good money. $25,000 hitting an account was mind blowing to me. It was like, I couldn't believe that was legal. I was like looking around like, is somebody gonna come get this money? Am I gonna get arrested? Like, what is going on? Like, is this normal? And sure enough, I did my taxes that year. They said, was it your primary residence? I said, yeah, I lived there. I was stationed there. Okay. And that was it. And I was like, wow, I just get to keep this money. And the military paid me extra housing to buy it. I paid nothing to move in it.
Yep.
For me, I try to convince you, if you're in the military, you need to buy. I don't care the circumstance. I think you should be buying at every time you can. And I continued that. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Yeah. Let me say this before I ask you the next question. For the attendees who's here, we do have a special program. I know Adam talked about a little bit at the end of this at this meetup. So if you guys want to hang on, we have a special thing that got granted to me. So we're gonna have a raffle at the end of this call. So just hang on for that. But I tell people all the time, James, that look, like you said, the VA loan is a option, is a benefit that you get for being in the military. And if you're single, get a multi-family deal.
Yes.
Get it for a year, refinance, rinse and repeat. And and prime example is a couple months ago, we had a guest speaker named Maurice Philogene who did just that. He did that with condos, and now he makes six figures a year because he sacrificed in his 20s while everybody else, like he said, while everybody else was partying, he was cleaning toilets, fixing toilets. But now he's been to over 80 countries in his 40s and can do what he wants to because of the benefits of real estate and benefits of using his VA loan first to do that. So I definitely, I wish that I used it when I was in, and that's, but you live and learn. I where I'm saying it right now, I use my VA loan, and I see the benefits of it right now with having a tenant and somebody paying, half my rent for me, and still appreciating. So I definitely see, man. So after you had your first $25,000, what was the next step for you? What did you want to do next? Was it something that really caught your eye?
Yeah, it was more of the same. So it was just on a bigger scale, right? And then one of the biggest players that limits your housing, and I'm not a big Dave Ramsey guy, but I completely agree with him with car payments. Simply because car payments don't leverage your money correctly. So I don't know if you remember when I was there, I was driving a Pontiac Grand Am, a 91 Pontiac Grand Am,
Mm-hmm.
and paid cash for it. And that's what really allowed me to get into houses. So I took that 25,000, and this is probably bad advice, but this is what I did because I was in the cars. I took that 25,000 instead of doing anything with it. I bought a car cash. That way I had a nice car paid off. And then I used that money. So now that I don't have that car payment flexing on my income, I use that money to leverage into more house. So the next house I bought was a brand new, I think it was like $250,000 house. And then I did the same thing. I held it for a few years, let appreciation occur, no car payments, and then I made double money on that house when I moved to the next base. So it's kind of like you're creating your own. I had my own bonuses. So those of you who are in the military know you get bonuses every so many times when you reenlist at certain points. So literally my whole career, every time I moved, I had a big bonus. And the bonus just went up from 25. So I was hugely blessed, very, very, very lucky as far as the people that I met, the people that surrounded me, encouraging me. Because some people are like, "You're gonna try to sell it yourself? Why are you selling real estate yourself?" It honestly has never been hard for me. It comes pretty naturally, just sales in general, but it's not something that can't be done. So that's why I just kept doing it over and over again. And up until a few years ago, I even paid for this last. I started naming. I don't know if you guys know Will Motivation, but Will Motivation, he names real estate projects after cars that he wants. So I started doing that. So like I have a Porsche, and I named this one piece of real estate. I was like, this is the Porsche, and sure enough, when I sold it, boom, got the Porsche. So it's pretty it's pretty cool the way real estate has helped me live the life that you want to live.
Right. So did you have any mentors, anything like that helped you along the way?
Oh man, mentors wise, now that I'm like you in the military, it was tough to find someone who was doing real estate like that. So I looked online, and a lot of my mentors were Gary Vaynerchuk, Will Motivation, Grant Cardone, Patrick McDavid. Those were kind of like my mentors, just getting my mindset right. Some of them not necessarily in real estate specifically, but getting your mindset right. And then right now, one of my only and biggest mentor right now is a guy named Rod O'Neill. He lives out here in Las Vegas. Just great guy. And he keeps my mindset right. He's always having me think, what's the next level? How do we get involved in real estate? How do we get involved in business? So yeah, I've had some people really help me. But overall, the cool thing about the internet and YouTube is your mentors can be literally anybody you want.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you talked about this before, and I just want to expound on this. How hard was it for you to really get to your younger airmen or this other military people about the benefits of real estate?
Oh man, that is it's an uphill battle. And I'm one of the guys who I'm fighting tooth and nail. Like literally, if any of my troops are watching this, they know. Um, I would set them down, and we had a round robin group discussion on this at one point. And after all the discussions that I've had, I've only gotten two people to actually do it. And one of the guys who did it, man, he thanks me to this day. He made $100,000 off his deal, and he told me, he's like, I would have never did that if you didn't tell me to get into real estate. So I lay my numbers out clearly to them. I try to be as open and as honest as I can. But it's tough because there's so many naysayers, and it's such an unknown. So establishing that trust is important, and it's just an uphill battle. It's extremely tough.
Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I always harp on is that, I mean, look, none of us, for the most part, especially in high school, are taught finances. I know we have some schools that take finance, but most schools don't. And when people come into the military, uh, you see a lot of these kids, buy the newest cars. They get in financial trouble right away because they want to buy the slick car. They want to look cool in front of their friends. But then they're in the dorms all the time because they don't have the money to go out and do anything. So,
Right.
And like I said, in my opener, and then even when people deploy, I got some money in my hand. What I got to do is, I got to buy me a car. That's going to depreciate as soon as you get off the lot. So, I just find it real interesting that the mindsets are not changed as you go along. I had a couple guys talk about stocks when I was a young airman, but no one talked about real estate at all. People hammered to me about go to school, but really no one at all talked about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And just the car versus the house debate. So I ran some numbers before this whole meeting just so that people, and I always tell people this, and this is my biggest selling point for real estate right here. All right, a $30,000. This is why I say cars leverage money incorrectly, not incorrectly, but it's not efficient because you are leveraging your money because you're spending $500 a month and you can get a $30,000 car. So a $30,000 car is going to cost you $497 a month on a 6-year loan at 6% interest, right? So that's $500. But that same $500 buys you a $100,000 house at 3% interest over 30 years. So instead of spending $500 to own a $30,000 asset, I'm saying asset in quotes because it's not really an asset, but a $30,000 item, you can spend that same $500 and have a $100,000 item. But it doesn't stop there. Not only does the car you buy it for $30,000, but it depreciates. And on average, in 6 years, a car will depreciate. In 5 years, a car will depreciate 60%. So that's 60% of the value gone in 5 years on a normal car on average. I just looked these numbers up on Google yesterday, so they should be accurate. We know cars depreciate, but so that same house, if you look at 5 years later, houses actually appreciate, which means they gain in value 3 to 5% per year. So the two just doesn't make any sense. So after 5 years, that $30,000 car is now only worth $6,000. And I have one downstairs. I have a car that I bought 10 years ago now, but it's literally only worth $5,000. And I bought it for about 30. It was about 30,000. It was 29,000. On the reverse of that house that cost $100,000, 5 years later, it's worth at 3% per year, it's worth 115. Or if you hit a 5% year, it's at $127,000. And then you combine that with the principal pay down, and all of a sudden you're bringing home $25,000 off of that $100,000 house. So that's the reason why I'm not anti-car, because I love cars. I have 2 sports cars. I love cars, but it just doesn't flex your money correctly. It doesn't flex efficiently, is my biggest selling point.
Yeah, yeah, definitely right, man. Definitely right. Great numbers right there, man. You know, it's funny because, you know, and like I said, in the military, you see Dodge Chargers, you see
Yep.
all these new cars all the time.
Yep.
Everybody's living in an apartment. You see, you know, the flashy people, you know, like to be flashy when they're not wearing a uniform. You see a lot of flashy people walking around there. You see a lot
Yep.
of flash. Hey, you go out and you see people in the mall, you see people around, you see a lot of flashy people walk around with some you know, chains and whatever. And you're like, man, like, hey, okay. Hey, so people get a perception that people in the military are rich, right? Because you see
Yeah.
the cars,
Yep.
you see the
Yeah.
jewelry and things like that, but what's on the back end? You know, some people save money, but most people don't invest.
Oh,
Invest in
here's
real
another
estate.
thing, another problem. So I don't know how many times before I bought my place in Montana and in
Mhm.
North Dakota and in Wyoming, they would say, "Well, why are you buying a house here? You gonna be here forever? Like, what you doing that for? Like, man, you in Montana? Why you buying a house in Montana? Don't nobody want to live in Montana?" Like that was the response, you know. So
Yeah,
I think that has a big player to do with it too, because it's people think that you're going to live there forever. But that's not the case. So if anybody's listening who's in one of those isolated locations like I was, I've been there my whole career, isolated locations, don't hesitate to buy that house, because you have options. Like I tell people, let's say worst case scenario, you buy the house and you can't sell it. Well, if you can't buy and you can't sell the house, you can always rent it out. You can always rent it out. And renting is something I do now, just because I help homeowners rent their places, and I manage my own rentals for that same reason, because you want to build that equity. Because if you have one house and you're at 3 to 5%, imagine if you have 2 houses. Imagine if you have 4 houses, 10 houses. Just constantly building that real estate repertoire is going to allow you to do the stupid things with your money, like buy the Porsche or buy the, I'm actually like, in a couple of years, I'm actually legitimately thinking about, how can I get a Ferrari? Like it's just insane.
yeah, yeah, man. Um, so I'm gonna pitch something out there. And I tell people this, so it's free education for anybody who really wants to listen. How many times have you PCS somewhere?
I did 4 PCSs in my career.
Okay. Was all these in stateside?
All of mine are stateside because of my mission. You know my mission. I'm
Right.
not going anywhere.
Right. So hear me out on this one. What industry, what real estate industry, when you went to, you saw all around bases? Like what real estate industry you saw all around bases?
What real estate industry? Like
Yeah.
like sales agents?
No. What for military people? What do a lot of military people do? They PCS or they deploy, right?
Yeah.
So what did we put all our stuff at? Self storage.
Yeah.
So, and how many self storage places you see around bases?
The, I guess I'm always in little towns, so
Right.
I don't know. Like there is always a storage place in the town. You know
Right.
what I mean? There's always at least one.
Right. So, and I tell people like, man, if you can find a self storage place, a mom and pop self storage place, you can got, man, you will be in the money, because especially the bigger bases like some of the big army bases where people deploy all the time,
Right.
man, you are in it, because we're always PCSing or we always deploying. And and I think a lot of people don't understand that self and the thing about self storage, that we have more self storage in the world. There's more self storage in the United States than the world combined.
Wow.
But as military people, I think you should really look into that because you know what's going on. You know people deploying. I think Bud can say the same thing on here because Bud knows people deploy all the time. Now look, well, let's leave Afghanistan. That's gonna go down a little bit. We still deploy to all places all over the world still. So I just I just want to put that tidbit on there. Have you thought about looking into self-storage?
No, that sounds like a great idea though. I haven't looked into it. I'm probably 12 miles away from Nellis Air Force Base.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so and I know they're a highly deployable base. So
Right. Right.
that is definitely a good business idea.
Yeah. And the exercises around there. He still got the big one when the springtime they always have. The warfighter one. I forgot what it's called.
Red flag.
Yeah, red flag. Right. Thanks, bud. Thanks. Yep. They still got red flag. Yeah, red flag. So Airbnbs is really good for it, but I know how the thing in Vegas is, but
Yeah.
people always going to red flag. And that's a really big exercise right there. But sorry, guys, I know that a lot of you guys listen like, who is he talking about? What's exercise? But we can talk about more about real estate. I can talk to James all day about something. But so let me ask you another question, man. So what is next for you? What's the next big thing for you? Or what are you working on right now in real estate?
In real estate right now, I actually just recently changed jobs, but 2 weeks ago I was a real estate appraiser, an intern. So I wanted to get in. I got that job because I wanted to get an idea about how real estate transactions occur. What is their frequency? What is the payment method normally? And I learned a ton about just the market itself. So that was my first job I wanted to get while I was out here, and I did that job. But next for me is it's going to be owning my own business. I got a bunch of business ideas that I'm kicking around. Right now, I've been fortunate enough to not to have to work. So this is a first for me for that. That I don't necessarily have to come into work every day. So that's a very unusual situation. So now next is to own. I'm going to own a franchise of some sort. Whether that be, I've been looking at Chick-fil-A, I might own a gas station. What I'm looking for is just opportunity. Put the feelers out there, and then based on, just like when I buy a house, I'm buying the house, but I'm more looking for where is the deal? Because I know the deal equates to money on the back end. So I'm always looking to buy a piece of real estate that's cheaper than market, and then get something, do something that's more, sell it for more later if I project that it's going to be more later. So I'm looking for multifamilies. I'm looking for gas stations. I'm looking for just that next venture. But obviously right now, I don't know if you guys know about the market out here in Vegas, but it's absolutely insane. We're at like 18% year over year as far as appreciation goes, which is it's just crazy. If 3 to 5 is the average and we're at 18%, that just is insanity.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll lock you in, man. I'll get you locked into some of the groups that we are, so help you look for what you are looking for too. So we'll definitely talk about that. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, I got 2 more questions I'm opening up for the attendees to ask you.
Okay.
So, what if you had to look back on things, what would you tell your younger self about real estate? And let's say you are fresh. Let's say you're 2 years in. What would you tell Airman James Thomas that you know now that you wish you knew back then?
I would tell him to go harder. Like, if you fail at 19, you can recover. You have so many years to recover. So I would say go harder into real estate. I wish I would have done the multifamily. That would have been better. I ended up doing the townhome, which was decent, don't get me wrong, and it was rare for someone that young to be buying. But I wish I would have went all in and jumped into a multifamily, and then had the courage to keep that multifamily and PCS. And I think that would be the toughest hurdle. But that's what I would tell myself. I would tell myself, go harder, because even if you fail, you're going to win.
Right, absolutely. And what are you moving forward? We're going to tell your kids about real estate to really get them, energized about it.
Oh yeah, my kids, they're very financially driven. They're well aware of how money comes in and comes out. And I would tell them to, matter of fact, we already have plans for them. My plan is for them to live here with me until they are able to move out and buy their own house. I don't want them to ever live in an apartment. They should be able to skip that whole step there just because what we've established here. They're able to. They should be able to do that. We got a big enough house, and we got all these plans to move everything around, and they can have the whole master bedroom, and we'll take. We got like a suite downstairs, so we'll take the suite downstairs. They can live upstairs and buy that house as soon as possible because it really is the key to wealth. I know some people disagree, but in my opinion, a regular guy who goes to work and comes home, that is the most expensive piece or possible asset that they ever will have in their life.
Right. Is Lakeisha in it?
And what's that?
Is she in real estate?
Oh yeah, she's right there by my side. She's my definitely my partner in life. So she's
Where's she at, man? Where's she at? I mean,
she's down. She's not really into real estate like that, but she has her own business though.
Okay.
So she just opened up a business. Matter of fact, this week. So she's doing her thing, man.
Good. Absolutely. That's good, man. Well, look, let me open up for attendees to ask you questions. So anybody can ask James a question. And like I said, at the end of this meetup, I have a special I have something I want to really share everybody that will include our good friend Edmund Chin. So just hang on, and I have something. We're going to do a raffle, and it's going to involve Edmund. So Erickson, go and answer the question, please.
Hey, thank you for the great value. So my question is, I know you said you sold your homes by yourself. So would you recommend that to people just to save on that, 3 to 6%? And could you talk through your process when you were selling it? Because when you don't have access to the MLS, that's a large pool of potential buyers that you're missing out on. So,
man, that's a great question. I'm about to give you the whole game right here. I don't know how much time you have, but I'm about to give you everything from start to finish. I've also walked quite a few people through this online and even over the phone. Like, so I'll get calls from people and they'll be like, "Hey, I heard you sold your own house, at your last base. Like, would you help me out?" And I'm willing to help anybody. The first step though is to determine a price. That's going to be your biggest hurdle for what you're trying to sell. But the way I do that, there's a couple ways. Now I don't necessarily have to do it this way, but let's assume like my first sale. The first thing I did was I interviewed 3 real estate agents. And I always do 3 just because I want to get an average. And I give myself a determination date when I'm going to hire one of those 3. So let's just say I give myself a month to sell my place. A month out, I'm going to interview 3 real estate agents, and I'm going to specifically ask them, how they're going to market, what's the listing price, how long do they think it'll take to sell? Those 3 things are important because they determine your plan for what you want to do next. So based on that, let's say you get, 3 prices, and then you'll have you may not know for sure what your house is worth, but that'll give you a great idea of what it's worth. You can also look at recent solds in your neighborhood. So if you have neighbors who sold anything like that, those are important because those are also going to be great determinants for your value. Especially now that I deal in real estate appraisal all the time, I see the importance of that now, how important that is, and it's super important. So once you determine a price, you're going to start advertising. Advertising is one of the things now that there's so many websites that do free advertising. Anybody who's on here who's Facebook friends with me will know I just send Facebook messages sometimes and say, "Hey, take some pictures of my place." And then I'll post on Facebook and I'll say, "Hey, if you could it would be awesome if you could repost this for me on your page. And I get referrals just from that. So you post to your friends, but you ask your friends, hey, would you mind posting, just in case they know someone who may be looking for a place at the base you are. And oftentimes I'll get replies back just from that. You can also use Instagram. You can also use, I was using Craigslist. I don't know if Craigslist is still valid now, but I would list it on Craigslist. That way you have a place to send your people, for advertising. Like you get them in and then you tell them where to go to actually apply. The next step is to get a good title company. So real estate agents are great at getting you your buyer, but as far as the transaction goes, and I don't know, I don't want to say this is absolute, but as far as the transaction goes, after I get a buyer, all I need is a title company. And once I get that title company, the title company can handle all the intricacies of the sale. So they're going to coordinate with the buyer on what's their financing like. They're going to secure the funds. They're going to do 90% of that transaction. After you get the buyer, it's all them. And that fee is not very labor intensive. Sometimes you can negotiate and get like my first house, it was $500 for the transfer. So you're talking $500 compared to $6,000 fee. That's the difference that you're talking about. So yeah, I would start out with a good title company. That title company, if you ask them, they could give you a sheet that's going to be basically a 2-page paper, and it's going to have things that they need to know to create a contract, like the property address, the name of the buyer, the price, the move-in date, the close date. Very, very basic information. So if you give that to them, they can take that and create a whole contract, and you're transacting very similar to a real estate agent, because even the agents have to go through the title company to secure, to transfer that title. So let me think, am I missing anything? So you do that, you get that. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. If you can do those, what is it, 3 things? Yeah, determine the sales price, advertise, get a title company. That's going to get you well on your way to selling it yourself and saving that 6%, which could be, I've sold it myself and saved, one time it was like 25,000, 18,000. And these are real dollars. So we're not talking theory dollars. We're talking those actual dollars will hit your account. So just keep that in mind when you go to sell, and you can do it. If you're even thinking about it, you can do it, because most people, when I say you should sell it yourself, their immediate response is, no, I can't. And I can't remember, was it Ford or somebody who said, if you think the man who thinks he can, the man who thinks he can't, they're both right. That's 100% true. If you don't think you can do it, you probably can't. But I still believe you can. You got any questions or anything about anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man.
Nobody has a question for him?
I got my hand
Looks
raised.
like
over here,
Adam.
Mr. Host. I was waiting on you.
My bad, Adam, my bad.
So James, great story. Love a lot of what you shared with the group here tonight. I think probably opened the eyes for, hopefully some people here. And I know I've got friends in the military where I'm going to ask Aaron to send me this recording when we're done so I can shoot it over to him, because I think a lot of people, as you mentioned, just I'm not, by the way, I'm not military or former military, but I know based on those VA loans and what you can do to just get yourself in the game, it's like, man, it's gold, right?
Oh,
It's
man.
just sitting there. You guys cracking up, you're talking about like, why you want to buy in Montana? It's like, dude, all right, you don't understand what's going on. Anyways, so I'd like to know, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, you're maybe looking into some new opportunities for yourself. What types of people are you specifically, or who are you looking to get connected with? Because I like your journey and I want to help and be a part of it if I can.
Oh man, that's beautiful, man. Thank you so much. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm open. I'm looking to just I always try to get around like-minded people. So people who are interested in business, I'm interested in business too, and always looking for partners because I'm at that level to where it'd be better to have a partner to do something with someone. So yeah, I'm definitely, if you're interested, I'm interested too. Where are you living at?
You're gonna be like, what? I currently live in I live in Newfoundland, Canada. Two firms that I work closely with were based out of LA and Chicago, though. I'm from Ohio originally. My wife is from here, so that's how I ended up here.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, Aaron knows I'm like, I might have to steal Lawrence's title over there, Mr. International. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, just to let you guys know too, Mr. Adam Carswell just recently got married as well.
I did.
Oh man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good life. So, but yeah, I'd love to connect with you offline. And Aaron, you already know I was going to do this, man. But it sounds like James could have a pretty solid future in the world of capital raising. I don't know. We might have to talk to him.
Hey, come on. Hey, Adam, you trying to take my ideas away from me, man? Yeah, me and him definitely want to talk. We definitely want to talk and see how we can share stuff. But I love how you reach out to him, man, and I think that'd be great as well, man. Because Adam's very, very connected, James, and he does other things besides real estate that he does clubhouse rooms for. That you don't.
I like to talk. I like to talk a lot.
Well, good. I like to listen.
And yeah, Aaron's got me coming back here in a couple of weeks too, so I'm looking forward to that. And speaking of talking, I got to go host a meetup in 10 minutes. So nice to meet you. I'll be in touch, and everyone else here, I hope to see you in 2 weeks. Mark your calendars. I'll be back.
Yes, sir. And if you need information, I can give it to you too, Adam. So I connect you guys.
Yeah.
Sure. Appreciate it. Definitely. Please do.
Right. No problem. Thanks, sir.
All right. Keep the questions coming for him, guys.
We will.
He's
Derek,
an open book.
Derek, what's up?
Hey, you got it, brother. How's it going?
Hey, are you feeling a bit better today?
Man, I am. I'm just, I am healing up. I had my surgeries yesterday.
Right.
Right. Now I'm still working. I'm just in the bed now.
Hey, I made a mistake yesterday, y'all. I was messing with him in the clubhouse room. I said, man, you sound like Barry White, man, because he don't sound like that. So, but I didn't know the man had surgery yesterday either. So
No, but see, people they say that anyway. They say I sound like Barry White anyway. So I'm like, all right. But yeah, it's just my energy ain't there yet. But man, I always appreciate what you're doing for the community, and it's just amazing how like somebody of your stature can still give to your community. And I want to tell you, appreciate what you're doing.
thank you, sir.
And so I want to extend. We still got to have our conversation, but I wanted to extend my hand to anybody that needs any help looking for real estate, because my reach goes across 50 states. If you're looking for property or you want to learn more about multifamily, this is all free. The only thing it'll cost you is your time. And so, James, what branch were you in?
I was in the Air Force. Me and Aaron Goins was in the Air Force together.
Oh man, we got to connect so you can tell me some stories on them, man, so I can use that as leverage, man.
I don't know, man. Aaron's a good dude, man. I don't have no stories on Aaron.
Video game stories, I tell you that, Robert. Hey, Robert, he got some video game stories about me.
Right, yeah, that's it.
That's right. But so now, what got you interested into real estate?
Initially it was just my mom. She really pushed me towards that direction because she had just seen people make a little bit of money. She made a little bit of money too, and she really wanted me to get in there. And I was a little apprehensive, but I did it anyways because I knew I could see people that were successful who had already done real estate. So it's kind of one of those things. And I even use this, my reasoning and what chooses my direction. I just look at what results people have. And if that's a result I want, I just ask them how they got there. And there were so many people who were just like, yeah, I bought my first house, I did this. It always has, no matter where you're at on the wealth chart, you'll notice that real estate comes up every single time. So that's just what really got me into it, is that I wanted to be financially whole. And ultimately what hopefully we're all chasing after is freedom, right? It's like, I want to be able to say, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to Puerto Rico. And I want to be able to go and have a good time and not worry about how much it costs. So climbing that financial ladder is important, and real estate is one of the biggest ways to get that done. So that's what it was for me.
So now, did you say that you do have any multifamily?
I don't have multifamily. That is my next goal, is either to get multifamily or, like I said, to go franchising, as far as, have a restaurant or maybe a small business or something like that. I even thought about opening an appraisal institute or something like that. And but yeah, my next goal is to either or. I'm just waiting. I'm kind of like playing. It's kind of like, you ever play cards and they say play the hand that you're dealt.
Right.
That's kind of how I look at life. Like, if something presents itself, I'm gonna jump on it. So
Hey,
I'm
I'm gonna
just
tell you,
searching.
Chick-fil-A don't sound bad at all, man. I'm thinking about Chick-fil-A too, man. I ain't
Right.
lying. This, man, when I say it's some rich equity in there. One of my clients is an operator, so I'm gonna pick his brain and really get some information about that, because, like, if you think about it, man, you don't hear a bad thing about the employees or the food or any type of scandals in Chick-fil-A. That's how you know it's a high dollar effective tool, So, but yeah, you own to something right there, man.
Hey, Derek, what
Yes,
are
sir.
they asking for the franchise fee for Chick-fil-A? I'm curious.
I don't know, but I know
Yeah.
you are, as the owner operator, you get 100,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay, because I was talking to just the employees in a franchise here. I'm in Jersey. They said the one in Vegas is probably the busiest one in the country, and then the Jersey location in Hamilton is supposed to be like number 3 on the list as far as volume and business that comes through those doors. And so they're amazing company, Chick-fil-A.
Mm. Alicia said that you had to work at Chick-fil-A for 2 years before you own it. That'd be kind of
Mhm.
crazy.
I did hear that too. My mentor is actually a business owner, and he owns a couple of restaurants. So I was talking to him the other day, asking him about how much I would need, and he said that you'll need about $1 million.
Yeah.
About 1 million to start. But he's like, that's why you partner. So if you can come up with 5, and it doesn't have to be actual dollars. And I didn't understand that before I went into this either. He said it could be like leveraged money. So if you have $100,000 in equity on this house, and you have $200,000 of equity on that house, you have 300 there. So you can leverage that money. You just have to put the bank as the number 1, which means they get paid first if you sell it. But that gets you closer to that $1 million range before, because after you're in there and you're franchising, it can be a big power curve. It can be a big boom after you hit that franchise.
Edmund, you have anything? You have a question you want to ask? And like I said, guys, in like 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna do something that features Edmund. So Edmund, do you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah, James, if you could describe in your near future, like say 3 to 5 years, what would success look like for your real estate endeavors? Where would you like to go?
Yeah, for my real estate endeavors, 3 to 5 years from now, I would expect to own at least, maybe I look at and I know people probably don't do this, but I'm just weird like this. I look at apartment complex and I'm like, I could build one of those. I could build, 50 units, 100 units, something like that. And be brand new, be something fresh. And because I think that with the prices of everything going up, I think that is going to be the next market to boom, which is going to be those apartments that are for the people who couldn't really afford to buy a house, but are pretty much done with don't really want to be in a lower level apartment. They want to be in a luxury apartment. So something where you can house families, maybe even townhouses, having, 20 townhouses. That would be next for me. If I could write a perfect story, it would be, I franchise, I take the money from that, and I use that money to buy more real estate, and slowly build my real estate empire.
You're gonna get plugged in real quick about that. So you're gonna get plugged in. You people's now. So James, you're in good hands now, man. So I already got, everybody knows we talk about multifamily on here. So you're definitely getting plugged into the right place, because we have plenty of multifamily investors. Like my partner in mine's Bud. What's going on, man?
Just another day, man. I had 3 coaching calls, a little bit. Been working my butt off, trying to get my EXP Realty going. I only got 49 days left in the military, and then I'm done.
You hear that, guys? 49 days left. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you retiring, Bud?
Yeah, man. 34 years and 1 month. That's it.
34 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thank you for yours, man.
Oh man.
The sad part about it is that 35 years, you get a marching band when you retire. Marching band and a flyover.
Yeah.
You're 1 year short of that.
The more like the commanders hate me so much, they're marching my ass out of there's what they're doing. 20 years enlisted, they have a hard time dealing with somebody with my mentality.
Wow. That is a blessing, because I don't think, I've been out now since April was my official retirement date. So I've been out 4 months officially, but unofficially I got done in January. And the amount of freedoms that are out here, I don't think we realize when people say thank you for your service. I didn't realize what it really meant up until like maybe a month ago. But I don't think we even realize what we are actually giving up.
I am like, no kidding. I stopped cutting my hair already. And like, because I work with an RPA unit, we only do 3 days on, and then so I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I work every other Saturday and Sunday. And I'm just taking off every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I only have 8 more days left. So I'm on terminal leave without being on terminal leave. And they're like, hey, you don't really have to come in next week. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, no problem. And click, I hang up. I'm not even.
Wow.
So I'm just taking time off and time off and time off. And man, it's like, I'm like, I don't want, what have I been missing my whole life? This is running my own business, running my own realty, buying more rental properties. Yeah, man, this is the life.
Yeah. Right there with you.
I don't know if you guys use this term, but there's an attitude, like there's a thing that we say in our military, which is like enlisting and being course loaded is the closest you can get to being incarcerated without actually being incarcerated. You lose like all your freedoms.
All right, Kevin, see you later. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you lose a lot of freedoms, but yeah, when you free, it's a whole new world. And I think that that's why some people have a hard time as well, because, now you don't know what to get into. You in the military, like you said, you're kind of locked up. You kind of have instructions, what you got to do. You have a structure. Now, when you're out, you don't have that structure anymore. So with some people, when they lose that structure, they lose themselves. And, and just to let you guys know, on top of that, next week, I'm going back to the monthly homeless vets call. So if anybody wants to be part of that, please let me know. It's going to be this coming Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. Eastern time. So if anybody wants to be part of that, please let me know.
What's the breakdown of that, Aaron?
So the homeless vest call is for people like Alicia who want to help the homeless out in her area. This is to bring people together, to add resources to each other, because everybody has different, there's different situations in different cities. So it's a way to people to bring ideas together and help each other out. So Rhonda probably be on there as well, adding talking about her journey and what she does, and just trying to help each other out, and then try to make like a walking paper so that everybody has a platform and know the resources they can go to.
Sir, you can add me in.
Okay, thank you.
Is it a clubhouse thing, Aaron, or is that going to be on Zoom?
It's gonna be on Zoom. Yeah, it'll be on Zoom. Anybody who wants to be part of it, just let me know. Send me an email and I'll push you onto the chat that we have. Robin, man, you got anything, man? It's good to see you on here, man.
Yeah. I'm just working on a few deals that are really, really close to get to the closing table.
Good.
So some refinances, mostly actually refi, and people tapping the equity, getting the cash out to buy more properties, of course. So that's what I've been doing. Had a for acquisition also. So that those things are keeping me busy. I miss some of these nighttime, meetups, but I'm trying to get myself back in.
Right. Absolutely. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. All right. So look, I've been talking about this the whole meetup. And first of all, I want to say thank you, James, for being on here, man. Please, if you had time, please stay on. We go to breakout rooms, and then we also go to after party where investors let their hair down, and we talk about all things real estate and life, and we have a good time with each other. So next week, our good friend Edmund Chin got selected to be a guest speaker on a capital raising secrets hosted by our friend Vicky. So and Vicky hit me up today and said that she has some free tickets. So I'll be able to do a raffle and then send the winners over to Vicky so that they can attend this meetup for free and hear our good friend Edmund and other people like Hunter Thompson and a whole bunch of good wealth about capital raising. So by a show of hands, first of all, because I don't want to waste nobody's time, who would like to go? Can you please just put your raise of hands on here?
Note, it's got a retail value, I believe, about 400, like 395, something like that.
Yes. Edmund alone is 300. So I mean,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
oh, you're too good.
All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
What'd you say it was again? Sorry, what do you
5.
said it was
a capital raising secrets. It's a 3-day event. And the winner of this raffle will get a free ticket to this summit, basically. And you hear speakers talk about their secrets. They reveal the secrets about capital raising. That's something I do, and we'll talk about that offline too, James. But so I think this is very valuable, and I think this will be it's online. It's an online event, Marcus. It's the was it 16, 17, 18? Right, Edmund? 16, 17, 18th, I think.
Yeah, next week, Thursday,
right.
Friday. I want to say. I'm just calling out the link right now. Once it comes up, I'll put it in the chat.
Right. Hey, and our good friend Esther is on here, and I just heard you talk on John Casman's meetup. On podcast, and that was a really good one. All right, so
Thank you.
no problem, no problem. You know I'm a big
I
fan.
didn't even hear it yet, so thanks.
I heard it this morning.
Good. Hope it's good.
Yeah. All right. So I have 4 people. So let's see. Let me try to do a.
I'm gonna bow out.
But if you leave, you can't attend, man. We'll get a free crap.
That's okay. You know what? I just realized I'm in Costa Rica during those days.
Hey, when you want to talk?
Oh, we got to talk. You got time tomorrow morning? I am off every Thursday and Friday now, and then from September 30th on forever, I am off.
Okay. So text me in the morning time. I'll set up a time while I'm at work. I can talk to you.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. So I have 4 people, right? All right. Mr. International, Erickson, Alicia, and James. So let's see.
Well, Aaron, you can take me off too. I'm sorry. I got stuff. I got some appointments on Thursday as well.
Okay. Edmund just put the information in the chat. I could have did the same thing. He put information in the chat. So, all right, here we go. All right, and our winner is 2 winners, actually, is Alicia and Erickson. But I think I got something for you too, Lawrence Laddie. So I think all 3 of you guys will be winners, but I'll send this to Vinky. I'll send your emails to Vinky for that. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
What?
Lawrence didn't will it enough.
He didn't want it enough, huh? But I think I got something for Lawrence Laddie. I think I can make slide up.
Retirement making him slow, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So
Too many mind.
So all right, congratulations, you guys, and I'll keep in touch with you two and let you guys know. I'll give you guys the promo code too, so you guys can enter yourself into it. So all right, so with that, and I just want to say this again. Well, I haven't said it, but I want to say this. Look, we are part of GOB Network. For some reason, I don't introduce myself when I talk about this, but we are part of the GOB Network, proud members of GOB Network. If you guys want to learn more, who's not part of it, please get with me. And we got so many other GOB Network people on here. So really bullish about that. If you guys want to host a room on the GOB Network on Clubhouse, please let me know. We need more people to have rooms on the Clubhouse on the GOB